Now available in paperback. Those who refuse the gift of eternal life are condemned to wander in the darkness of eternal night. Get your copy of Eternal Night at online booksellers today. An Atlanta woman was allegedly savagely beaten by a man she met on a dating app Hinge because the outing allegedly cost too much. Now, in this incident, Benjamin Francher is alleged to have met Brittany Correri in Atlanta after talking on the dating app Hinge, and the date allegedly started off smoothly after he met with her family and friends. But later on in the evening, the man wound up brutally beating this woman, and it's alleged that he went off because the date allegedly cost too much. Now, when I take a critical examination of this alleged incident in Georgia, I see yet another incident that fits the pattern and profile I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And this Benjamin Francher fits the pattern and profile I talk about as related to beta males in my book, The Man Crisis. Because your Benjamin Francher, from looking at his background, saying that he lived with his grandparents and was on online dating, clearly shows me that he had a problem with having to develop male life skills and developing male social skills and being able to navigate social situations. That's what I identified early on when I heard that he was living with his grandparents, and I also identified that he was having problems with his social skills because he went to this online dating site instead of going out to pursue relationships with women in public, because healthy men want to go out and approach women in public, and that shows women that these men can take the lead, and it also shows that they have confidence in themselves. But beta males, because they're insecure, what they do is go on online dating sites putting up this profile to present things as related to a facade, and then they use that facade in an effort to try to persuade people to think that they are attractive. However, when people get involved with them in person, the facade winds up fading away, and these males start showing who they truly are and showing how dysfunctional they truly are. And that's what happened in the case of this alleged incident. It looks like your Benjamin Francher, he put on a nice facade as related to his online presence, and even had a white BMW to make himself look like he was some sort of big shot and some sort of thing that he wasn't. So this guy was, like a lot of guys in online dating, putting on a veneer to try to persuade people that they are one way, but in actuality, they are sort of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They have a Dr. Jekyll outside that makes them appear attractive, but then a Mr. Hyde that comes out when things don't go their way. And that's what makes dealing with a beta male in a dating situation a very precarious and dangerous thing, because you don't know when this guy will go off or type of violence he will participate in, because these beta males are notorious for participating in a spectrum of violent behaviors when things don't go their way in a dating situation with a woman. And these guys can go anywhere from a screaming fit all the way up to sex crimes and even murder. And this young woman sadly found out how this guy's violent behavior could be when she was just sitting there in the car with this guy. And what's even scarier was the whole situation escalated to the point where he had pulled out a gun on this woman. So this woman could have possibly lost her life, and she didn't do anything wrong other than go on side of this online dating site and deal with this guy who clearly had serious issues as related to women, and it looked like to me he was looking to get some easy and cheap sex from this woman on online dating. And when he found out that the date was costing more than he was expecting, this is what triggered his anger and led to him exploding in this rage and then looking to go out here and brutally beat this woman and then looking to pull the gun on this woman allegedly and attack her in that way. And then after this incident, he decided to flee the scene and left Atlanta and went all the way to New York in an effort to escape the crime that he committed and allegedly committed, because it's not anything until you can confirm it with law enforcement. So this guy just went on a berserk state, and again, all because he did not know how to navigate social situations, and that showed us all how dangerous these beta males are, because one of the most dangerous situations for anybody to be involved in with one of these beta males is a dating situation, because oftentimes these beta males they just go berserk when it comes down to women, because many of these males, they see interactions with women as opportunities to get easy sex, and these men believe sex has a high value because it allows them to have social currency that they can trade with others, and they are willing to do anything to get that sex, even participate in a sex crime if possible. And that's what makes these beta males extremely dangerous to deal with, because these males, they just lose control over their emotions when it comes down to interactions with women, because they don't see a woman as a person. They see a woman as a sex object, and they see her as an opportunity to gain sex that will allow them to elevate their social status. And that's one of the reasons why these guys are extremely dangerous, because they don't see, again, a woman as a person. And that's what happened in this case. He didn't see the woman as a person. He saw her as an opportunity to get some easy sex, and he didn't see her as a person because he didn't see women on online dating as people. This is another thing people don't understand about beta males. They don't see women on online dating as people. They see them as disposable. They see them as objects, and they see them as somebody they can use for whatever sexual fantasy they want to participate in, and be able to do this anonymously, because these men are really messed up as related to their sexuality. They believe that sex is a part of a secret world they want to participate in, that secret place where they believe they can express their masculinity, and they want to go out here and be able to have these encounters in secret and then go back to their lives acting like everything is perfectly fine, because they want their world to be smooth with no problems, no conflicts, and no obstacles. And they don't want people to see them as sexual because they think sex is a bad thing. And that's why they'll go on one of the reasons why they go on online dating. The other is due to them being very extremely awkward. And these guys don't really know how to navigate, again, social situations with people. And that's what makes them a real problem, because they get frustrated, they get angry when things don't go the way they expected. They want to go out here, and they think, because they see things in movies, from romantic comedies to these teen comedies and Madison Avenue advertising, they're thinking this is how you get a woman. And this guy was mad because he thought he was spending too much money on a woman, and then because he thought he was spending too much money on this woman, he was angry and frustrated, and he wanted to hurt this woman, when the problem was he just didn't understand that if he wanted to go out here and have a date, he was going to have to make those terms early on. So you don't sit there and get mad about money you're spending. You come up with your plans for what you want to do, and you go to some place like a diner or a coffee shop, and you have your date, and if it costs some money, it costs some money, but it's not, you're not entitled to anything like sex because you spend some money. Because that's another thing that beta males don't understand. They'll go out here and spend a lot of money because they think they're entitled to sex, and then what they want to do is get mad when they don't, when it looks like they don't have any possibility of getting sex. And again, that's what, makes these beta males extremely dangerous. They have these sense of entitlement. They think that they're owed things like sex from women, and when they don't get it, they believe they have a right to do harm and do violence to that woman they're involved with. But when I look at this incident again, it's another incident in America's ongoing man crisis, and it just shows us how extremely dangerous a beta male can be when you have to deal with his sexual frustration and the violence that's connected to that sexual frustration. And it's thank God this woman was able to get out of that situation with her life, and this man is in custody where he belongs, because this man is a clear and present danger to people, and because he just is so extremely crazy as related to his behavior. And now that he's in prison for assaulting this woman, he's going to get plenty of dates where that tight end is going to be turned into a wide receiver, and he's going to have plenty of. He's going to find out how little things cost when he's traded for a cup of noodles or a little Debbie oatmeal pie. So this guy didn't understand what he was trading away from because he was just so sexually frustrated. He wound up trading his intangibles as related to his manhood, such as his dignity, his self-respect, and his self-worth, and his freedom, most of all because he could not control his anger and he couldn't control his sexual urges. So this man wound up losing a lot as related to an online date, and he wound up losing his freedom, and it was all his fault. And this could happen to a lot of, has been happening to a lot of guys out here because they don't get the necessary male life skills to understand how to deal with social situations, and understand that if you're going to go out on a first date with a woman, you usually go to a coffee shop or you go to a Starbucks, and it's all about sitting and talking and getting to know that person so that you can have a healthy relationship with him. But most beta males, they don't see women as people. They see them as opportunities for sex and sex objects. And when those opportunities don't look like they're coming, that's when these men start getting angry and they start thinking it's okay to do harm to that woman. Well, it's not for you to do harm to a woman because she won't give you an opportunity to have sex with her, and you're not entitled to sex if you go out on a date with that woman. The dates are supposed to be something about you talking to the woman, getting to know the woman, and find out if the two of you are compatible for a relationship, and that's all a date really is. But the beta male, because he watches too many movies like these teen movies or these porn movies, thinks that sex is part of dating, and thinks that sex will get him social currency that will elevate his social status and make him a more socially acceptable man. Unfortunately, these males have extremely antisocial behavior, and it's that antisocial behavior that makes it where nobody wants to have a relationship with them, because these men don't know how to connect with a woman as a person. They only look for women to be basically sex dolls and sex objects, and that's what makes women creeped out by these kind of guys. And many were creeped out by this guy, and they could look past his veneer and see him for the dangerous person he truly was. Now, if you want to learn more about why beta males are extremely dangerous and their sexual frustration is extremely dangerous, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can learn more about why these men participate in these dysfunctional behaviors and what makes these men participate and motivate them to participate in these behaviors. And if you want to see me make more videos about men's issues, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.